A moment of silence for her memory, please. Thank you, and we offer our condolences to the entire Miller family. And now for a little bit of good news. We would also like to congratulate our videographer, our director, our producer, our sound check person, and everything else that she does. Sammy, congratulations on your recent wedding to Michael. You had a very nice day up there on the hill. Beautiful weather, beautiful day, and you were quite a beautiful bride. So we wish you all the best with your honeymoon, and may the honeymoon last for a long, long time. First tonight, we're going to hear from our student representative, Ryan Donovan, as he brings us into the new school year.
Thank you. I really can't believe that school's already a week away.
Neither can we.
This week coming up on Thursday night, we have the annual freshman orientation here at the high school. It's called Pirates Voyage. We invite all the incoming 8th grade or incoming freshmen to come to the school at 6 o'clock on Thursday, where there'll be a cookout, and we'll hear from Mr. Wells, and they'll hear all about the different sports and clubs that they can get involved in here. And then the student council shows them a video, involving a quest to find something. We'll keep that hidden until Thursday night. And we take them on tours throughout the school to find where their classes will be, get to know where everything is, get to know their the kids that will be in their advisory periods and the kids that will be with them in their grades. And once we have a winner, we'll go downstairs for ice cream. And then at 8 o'clock, Mr. Wells invites the parents back to speak, for him to talk to them and the kids about the upcoming school year. So it should be a lot of fun. We've been here for the past week. A group of me and my council members have been here working very hard every day for the past week on bulletin boards and getting all this stuff ready for Thursday, so it should be really good.
Awesome. That sounds great. Very good. That's it?
Yep.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can have that. Sorry, I wasn't trying to steal your money. Have a good rest of the summer. Only a couple days left.
Thank you. I know.
Thanks, Ryan. Now we'll go on to our regular business, the approval of minutes from July 26th. Do I have any corrections?
So moved as printed.
Thank you, thank you. I'll call for the vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 affirmative. Meeting minutes are approved. The next date is the August 4th meeting. Oh, we had executive session?
It's with the Board of Selectmen.
Oh, okay, all right. We don't have, let me back up a minute. I don't have
Sure, yeah.
August 4th.
26th, the executive,
It just came
or the
down.
special. You had two for the,
Yeah, let me back up. Let's go back to the 26th, I'm sorry. For the special meeting that we had with the Board of Selectmen. Any corrections or changes?
moved as printed.
Thank you.
Second.
I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 4 affirmative, those are approved. Now, let's go to August 4th. Let's see. Oh, August 4th was our subcommittee. I guess since we have minutes, Mr. Superintendent, it is subcommittee minutes.
Yes, that was the meeting that we had, Mrs. Ennis, that you chaired with Mr. Anderson and Mr. Peterson there, as well as the two members of the Board of Selectmen, to finish the discussion on,
And it was posted as a
and it
meeting.
was
'cause
posted
was
as a regular
quorum.
meeting
Okay.
because we had a quorum. Yes.
Okay, usually we don't have subcommittee minutes. Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve these as printed.
Moved as printed.
Thank you.
I'll have to second it, Steve, you're the only one.
Seconded?
Thank you. And I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Abstain.
Yes.
That's okay. 4 affirmative, that's all right. 4 affirmative, 1 abstention. And those are okayed. All right, now to our unfinished business, discussion of the central office move to the community center. As we know, we did have a meeting on August 4th with Chairman Casey, Selectman Lamarche, our town manager was in attendance, our superintendent, our business manager, Mr. Peterson, Mr. Anderson, I'm trying to think of everybody that was there, Kafey Kang from Kang Associates, Mr. Donay, Mr. Wells from the Oxford High School, and we did have a joint meeting to discuss the move from the central office that's on Sigourney Street over to the community center. After having a lot of discussion, and I think listening to the resources that were at the table, the best plan is to now go over to the community center. It did come up, and I'm glad it came up, that this building was not built to house the central office. There may have been discussion, but there was never anything written on paper that said that this building had room for that. And after looking at the figures, which was a huge cost, putting that kind of an office in this building would be quite a task. And I think that we all understood after listening to Kafey Kang and Mr. Donay's what a task it would entail. So, and the price tag was over $430,000, opposed to the $110,000 being spent over at the community center to upgrade that top floor. In your packets, we have a memorandum of agreement that the town manager sent over to our superintendent. I need to comment on this. This has been bothering me since I got it. And I think the reason that it bothers me so much is because we are a department of this community. We're not an outside entity coming in and renting property. We are a department that participates in town meeting. We're a department that has its own budget, and we move forward accordingly. We have, I guess the thing that bothers me the most about this is almost the separation of the school department to the town. And that was a concern to me. I believe, and this is my opinion, that a vote of this committee is just as upstanding and as valid and as something like this document. So I'm not sure what everyone thinks of this, but I think that we should have discussion in regard to this document. I almost find it somewhat insulting that it was sent over to us. And as Mr. Peterson has said, and I've thought about something that he's said a few times, we are the only department in the town of Oxford to rent a public building. So I did a little research, and what I found out was the DPW now has moved into what was once discussed to possibly be the space for central office, and is now the old police station. And they have had upgrades to that building: carpets, furniture, paint, fixtures, whatever has been needed to make it now into office space instead of a police department. That money was somewhere in the ballpark of about $20,000 now, and those funds were taken from the sewer enterprise fund. So there's a movement of money there, but again, the Department of Public Works is not going to be paying any rent for that building. So I don't know, I understand we're going to pay rent. I think that was something that was discussed quite a while ago, that we're going to do something like that. But in regard to this memorandum of agreement, I really think that we need to discuss this and figure out if this is the way we want to go, or if a vote of this committee is sufficient. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mrs. Ennis. I, too, share the committee's concerns, I think, over the tone and certainly the implications of the way it is worded. Mr. Matthew and I did have a chance to meet with town manager this afternoon to give him our concerns. And the answer was that town council had drafted this based upon the fact that we were going into a building that had been set up as an enterprise account. And so I believe that there is some changes that do need to be made to the document. And I look forward to working with the manager to get those changes for the committee. So I think it may be a little more palatable for the committee's review. And I would ask the committee if that was possible to maybe bring this back for the next meeting for a final version that I think speaks to the fact that, as you mentioned, we are a committee with its own budget and as part of the town, not an outside third party. And the manager was understanding and said that he would look at that for a rework. There's a couple of other things also that are not in there, such as an end date, because obviously, once the note is paid, that we would expect that this would then be reworked. So there's a couple of tweaks that need to be done, and I would respectfully ask the committee if we could bring that back to you at our next meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson?
I too have some questions, and we just got this, so I did not have time to speak with any of the administration or the town hall today. Thank you for at least approaching them, Mr. Himmelberger. I have many questions from 4 on down, maybe even 3 on down.
I have them from 2.
So I guess we put them in writing and be done with it, and then work this out to dispose of it. But there seems to be contradiction in language, which is typical legal jargon, mumble jumble. We're to have priority, and then we're not to interfere with them. So I have some problems with 4 and 6 to be reworked. Again, I have a problem with the money going into the community center entity account. They are supposed to be soliciting, making them self-sufficient, and I'm not certain that educational funds, even though this is rent and not direct correlation to education, can be paid into another outside account. I believe that we would have to have it put back into the general account, at least, or we would get some allocation of redistribution and reimbursement in the ensuing fiscal budgets. So I do have some real questions on who the lawyer was that drafted this thing, right?
And if I might comment too on some of this, I think that some of us are beginning to hear that the community center, and it's also been on the web through Facebook, the community center is actually putting postings on their Facebook page that they're cutting programs. They are making it very public that they don't know what is going to happen. I don't know who posts, I have no idea, but it is on their Facebook page, that they're cutting the after-school daycare program. They'll be cutting other offerings that they have. I directly asked our town manager during the August 4th meeting if the community center was in any jeopardy, and he told all of us no. So I think that we need clarification of what is going to become of the community center should it fail. I hope it doesn't. I'm hopeful that us being in there and having more activity, that people will maybe, say, oh, this is the place, to whether it be basketball or bring back the after-school program, whatever it is, art classes, meetings. I know that they had yoga and things like that, so I'm hoping maybe the traffic will spur some support for the community center. But in regard to this document here, it is unacceptable. I think we all can see where it's unacceptable to us, and I'm hoping that the superintendent and our business manager will be able to work with, of course, our town manager. Mr. Peterson?
I also have concerns over the particular amount. The initial amount was to be $27,000 in preliminary conversations. All of a sudden, it escalated to $33,000. Then at the meeting that we had, the joint meeting, it became $3,300, which is now $39,000, almost $40,000 for the building. Again, for the square footage, with the availability of buildings around the county and everything else, I have concerns over the figure also.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Superintendent?
No, just that I have lots of work to do when I go back and sit down with town manager to air the concerns and see if we can come back with a working document that...
And please let the town manager also know that he is welcome to attend our next meeting if he would like. The invitation is always open, and if he would like to come in and have further discussion, or if we should have another meeting with the Board of Selectmen, we are also open to that,
Certainly.
too. Absolutely. To keep the communication going, we know this move is a must.
We don't want it to fall apart.
No, we don't want it to fall apart. We need them to understand that this is the beginning of a negotiation. This move must be, because it is a health and safety hazard now for anyone to work over in Sigourney Street once the heat is necessary. We can't have people working in that building anymore. So, it's not that we don't want to move, but we want to make sure that all of our bases are covered when it comes to this. Is
Exactly.
there anything further? Go ahead, Mrs. Conan.
Should we all send our concerns to you so that you can compile into one list, or?
That would be fine if it's okay with the chair. Whether it goes through the chair or directly to me, that's fine.
I would just like to be copied, that's
Yep.
all, but yeah, definitely, absolutely.
That would work.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. Now I'd like to call up our principal, Mr. Wells, from the high school. This is almost the end of casual day.
Cool and casual Monday.
Well, you're a cool and casual kind of guy.
Yes, yes.
So we'd like to hear what you have to tell us tonight about the Nichols College Access Program.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. First and foremost, everyone should have a copy of two documents before you. One is the Project Access, the Access Program, if you will, as well as a proposal for Senior Greeters Program here at Oxford High School. The first one, Nichols College. I'm very excited about the opportunity that's before our young people. The 3 pages before you are relatively self-explanatory, but I'll try to capsulate that and give you the Reader's Digest version. Essentially, we have a wonderful opportunity to provide college credit, and I would be seeking also high school credit for students that are motivated to take a college course through Nichols College. They will be offering, as of January, 4 separate courses if they can get the enrollment with area high schools. Consequently, the fee would be $350. Having a daughter that attends Nichols College, I can tell you that that fee is approximately 15% of what it would cost to take a course at Nichols College as an undergraduate. So it's a great opportunity. The course itself would be broken down into 3 categories. They would do 1/3 of the course online. Nichols would send a professor here in the early evening hours, which would afford, in my conversations with them, would afford student athletes and students that are involved with student council and other clubs and activities, our NJROTC program, the opportunity to come in the evening. So there'd be 1/3 face-to-face with a professor, and then 1/3 of the course would be on campus on a Saturday. Again, these courses will be able to transfer to any 2- or 4-year school. It's a tremendous opportunity. It's more than an exceptionally reasonable amount of money at $350. So essentially, I'm looking for your blessings. Dr. Jeffrey Hunter is the point person for Nichols College. Shepherd Hill, Mary Perangeli, their principal. The timing was great. We had met over the course of the summer, and actually that evening she had a school committee meeting, and she was able to present it right away. And the Webster Times did carry a wonderful article of their involvement with the program. I think it's a great opportunity. for our best and our brightest to receive college credit. Essentially, years ago, we used to have a program in all of the high schools called dual enrollment. That's when funding was available through the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. That dried up several years ago. So this is just a great opportunity for our young people.
Will you be seeking out students for this, or is this something that they would be coming to you?
We would seek out, we would promote, we would provide the opportunity and the knowledge for them to understand the opportunity that they have before them. I think that's really important. Oftentimes, students will kind of let things slide. So we did send out a letter to all junior and senior parents, and it was regarding a survey that was online. I believe it's called SurveyMonkey, that Nichols College had a survey out there, and to find out what type of involvement that there may be.
What kind of response did you get?
I talked to Dr. Hunter today, and he didn't go into details. He did say, though, that the Grafton Public Schools, who were also part of that meeting, did have a tremendous turnout. He didn't talk about Oxford, Shepherd Hill, Webster.
Okay. Okay. Any questions from the committee? Mr. Peterson?
Just a comment, and Mr. Wells alluded to the dual enrollment program that we had before. You're all probably too young to remember that, but there was a grade point average that had to be maintained to be into that dual enrollment, and those were through the state schools and things. I like this program, the looks of it, through Nichols. I totally support this, Mr. Wells. Who's paying, the student and the parents are paying the $350?
Exactly.
Okay.
That money would go directly from the
I
parents
mean,
with no exchange to
that's a
the Oxford
nominal
Public
fee just for
Schools.
registration, that's not a problem. But
And it was a 2.0, as you can see on one of the sheets,
This one
grade
for
point
Nichols,
average
right.
requirement minimum. One of the rationalizations behind that is to take a student that may be average and to provide them an opportunity by going on campus that 1/3 to kind of set the hook for those fishermen out there and get them very interested in furthering their education at the college level.
It's a great idea. Mr. Himmelberger?
Madam Chair, I know that this is sometimes overused, but this is the type of interaction between higher ed and area high schools that is ideal and what many schools are looking for but don't have the resources. And so I wanted to let the committee know that Mr. Wells did a terrific job of researching this and interacting with Nichols, partly because he is a dues-paying member of the club there, but he has done a terrific job of bringing this to the forefront, and I think it's a program that all of our kids can benefit from.
It's a great advantage, yes.
Outstanding job.
Thank you, Mr. Wells, very much. Mr. Himmelberger, if I may, does this need a vote?
I would say, and again, I might defer to the keeper of the keys, Mr. Peterson, but I think certainly a vote of affirmation, but I don't think you need to vote it up or down.
I'll move to support this totally because it's a worthwhile program. And by doing it that way, Madam Chair, at least we conform to our educational and graduation requirements, again, similar to the old dual enrollment, at least the grade point average is spelled out here, and that's what I wanted to make known, that this will not just be a fluff course either at the same point in time. So I totally support it and move to help him in which way we can with it.
Thank you. I have a second?
Second with discussion.
Go ahead.
Just a question, would we have to then just look at it says whether we decide to offer credits, high school credits. Is that something that is left to Mr. Wells? Is that something that this committee decides on? How do we go about?
I would certainly recommend that you give the credits, but I also might add that it is probably going to be a moot point because the vast majority of students that would be driven enough to do a college course such as what are available here through Nichols are probably going to graduate with more than enough credits that are necessary. They certainly don't take a minimal amount to graduate. They usually take a maximum amount. So I would support.
I know, but I'm thinking of some of the kids that I know personally that would be interested in this program. They may be 2 or 3 credits shy of graduating in their junior year. So this would give them an opportunity to even graduate early if they so choose.
The spirit of the intent is not to allow students to graduate early. Their senior year, they have to have at least 20 credits in order to complete their senior year, as it's listed in our handbook. The spirit of the intent is to provide pre-college, college credit, if you will, and give them additional challenges while still here at the high school.
Mr. Peterson?
Under the old system, Mr. Wells, again, they were higher achieving students, and I agree with you allowing a lower down the ladder to participate. But I agree with Mrs. Ravelli that I think that we should affirm to give them credit. If they can get it, and not to graduate early, but to have their credits according through their senior year, if there's a part of this course is not really available in the high school, these type courses, if that would conform to our math or science or whatever, part of your writing, your literacy programs through the critical thinking I'm looking at here, communication principles comes through your English classes and things, it would be the same as an elective, an additional course, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how you feel, Mr. Wells.
I just think that, I agree in terms of the high school credit aspect, but I certainly would not support it as a replacement for English 4.
They have to meet our curriculum requirements, yes. Okay? But like you said, it will basically give them more than enough credits to graduate, because they're going to have those credits anyway without these, so.
And just another point of information, as we approach 2014, and we're looking to adopt the state of Massachusetts Common Core standards rather than MCAS, our graduation requirements are going to continue to change. This past spring, I requested an additional 5 credits to raise the graduation requirements by 5 credits. It's only going to become more challenging as we approach 2014.
Okay. Anything else from the committee? Yes, Mr.
But
Peterson?
again, could some of these be used as an elective?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely,
For
toward
credit-
graduation
for credit-
requirements.
For graduation requirements is, I guess, what we're getting at also. They would not supplant your math, your science, and your history or whatever, but they could be used as elective courses for,
Absolutely.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Wells. I'd like to call for the vote now, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. And that vote supports this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to the senior greeters, I wish I could say that this was a novel idea, that it was a brainstorm that came to me in the middle of the night, but this is a program that
It's 2 a.m.
it's not overly popular, but there are some high schools throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts that do have senior greeters. The method behind the madness is to allow seniors that are retired the opportunity to volunteer, to come into our school. We would have a split shift, so we'd divide our day in half. We'd have 2 greeters in, say, the morning session, and then 2 greeters from 11 o'clock thereabouts until dismissal. Together, we would provide them lunch, we would provide them coffee. Their role and responsibility, we would still have our secretary maintain the door in terms of buzzing people in, but they would greet people at the door, and they would essentially direct them to our building and where they would like to go. The advantage is that they will have a tremendous opportunity to interact with our young people. And there's such a wealth of knowledge out there, I just think it's a win-win. It's a win for people that are retired that really want to stay engaged and kind of, through osmosis, grab the youthfulness of our kids to keep the blood pumping and to have them enjoy life. And it's also an opportunity for our students to gain some tremendous wisdom from our senior citizens here in the community of Oxford.
I have to tell you, this idea is probably one of the best I've seen come down the road in a while. We have some wonderful, I call them our golden residents.
Right.
And we have an activity center for them. We have some that have more energy than all of us in this room, and they are just a fantastic group of people, and I think you will be quite successful with this program. I think it's terrific. Anything else from the committee? Mr. Peterson?
Excuse me. I hate to even mention it, but do they have to be Corey?
quite frankly, they would have to be quarried, but that's not a major.
It's not a major issue, no.
Right, it's not a stumbling block, and it hasn't been in any of the school districts.
Far, okay.
I'm glad that you asked that question, though. I thought you were going to volunteer, and I was going to have to tell you that you're not ready yet.
The hair is not white enough yet? Soon, soon.
What is the age?
No, that's, I think it's a great idea. Thank you very much.
I do,
Thank
too.
you very much, Mr. Wells.
I do have a couple other things, if you don't
Oh,
mind, but I
absolutely. Go
promise
right
I'll be
ahead,
very
sir.
quick.
No, the floor is yours.
2 of 8 off my list. I'd like to take this opportunity to publicly thank Bob Moscofian for a number of years, even though I'm only beginning my 4th here. Those of you, and I know we always refer to Mr. Peterson, the keeper of the keys, but Oxford High School used to have booths that were set up for inclement weather to collect tickets for all of our fall events, and we haven't had those in a number of years. So I actually had called Mr. Moscofian to find out some advice in terms of building some booths, or if he knew, and he had 3 of them, and he said, you can have them.
That's great.
So our custodial staff and Mr. Done and his staff were able to procure those and bring those on campus. There is one down near the middle school, and we have 2 behind the school right now that will be brought out with forklifts the day of the game, so that our volunteers that are collecting tickets can at least stay out of the elements. So thank you very much, Mr. Moscofian, for that. The last meeting that I was at, I believe Chairwoman Ennis and Mrs. Ravelli had asked about volunteer hours. We talked about the things that the schools did. Well, with my technology guru, Patty Ross, we were able to put together, and Patty actually did the technological aspect of it. If you go to our main page, our treasure is our town, Oxford High School students volunteering, and there's an underwater treasure chest. And if you click on the key, it opens the chest, and it goes to a scroll of a multitude of things during the course of the last year that our students had volunteered, not only throughout the community of Oxford, but in various parts of the state. That's available, obviously, to anyone on the World Wide Web, so they can gain a greater appreciation for what the kids do above and beyond being in the classroom during the course of a 6.5-hour day. So that is up and functioning, and it will be constantly improving.
That's great.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just a comment. Thank you for putting it up there. If you go in, there are things that I don't think any of us, there's no one, I think, sitting here that knows all of them. Well, maybe Mr. Peterson does. But
Never
it was
proclaimed them all.
quite the list. And it was nice to see that so quickly after mentioning it, that it was up there. So, thanks for the efforts.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson?
I know you've mentioned it, but not everybody watches the school committee. A lot more are now, but couldn't we put that also, the explanation of it and where to get to it, even on our school channel, just on our general channel, so that people could read it
Yeah.
and know where to delve into it without putting the whole thing on the school channel, I mean, our Channel
idea.
13?
And we all recognize how important that is, just to promote the good things.
Absolutely.
Too, that go on in these buildings. You know, you hear so much of the negativity of education and everything, and we have some fantastic students in this town that have learned some awesome life lessons through those programs. And even in our middle school, you know, they've learned some great life lessons, and it's so much part of their education. So there is a lot of good going on here, and that's why we have the Patriot here tonight, because he's going to tout us how well we are. So, thank you, Mr. Wells. Go ahead.
Earlier this summer, I was able to get involved in a grant writing process to a company called Good Sports. Although I'm disappointed that the $15,000 in equipment I had applied for did not come through, I did receive an email that said, after reviewing your application, I am happy to inform you that we'll be able to support Oxford High School by making donations of fitness steps, plyometric box sets, and stability balls. These items will be purchased through our vendors. However, we also have some fitness equipment and apparel in our inventory. When you have a second, please look at our inventory and let us know what you would need. So I will be doing that in the next week or so. So we were able to procure some free equipment. I have Mr. Matthew in his short tenure, and Mr. Himmelberger, certainly through the time I walked through the door. I think they eventually succumbed to my constant pestering. From the day I got here, there were a number of trees on the side of the cafeteria that were what I felt were a high risk of falling down. And they were very generous to allow me to have an Oxford High graduate, actually, Mr. Kravosky, BK Tree Service, came in, took all of those trees and then some down at a more than reasonable price, and he took it all away so that you wouldn't even know that there were trees actually standing in that area. So thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate that.
He didn't leave you any for the homecoming bonfire?
No, he didn't, but with that, the price they gave us, I wasn't going to ask any questions. Also, I just want to thank the custodial staff. Our building is, for what they had to work with and what we've been able to do over the course of the summer, we're ready to rock and roll. The building's in great shape. The courtyard, the exterior of the building, we're in very good shape. So thank you to the custodial staff. Well, we did have, and that was through, I believe, Mr. Matthew and Mr. Himmelberger. The entire building was outfitted with all brand-new lights, energy-efficient lighting, including the gymnasium, the auditorium. So we're very, very thrilled. Timing switches everywhere. And I'm sure you noticed that the lights haven't gone out behind me. So we also worked on that as well. So that's worked out very, very well.
Switch under the table here now.
And then lastly, I'd like to thank Mrs. Spitz as we get ready. The Pirate Voyage, we call it. It's become somewhat of a competition for each class as they become seniors. You could see Ryan wasn't about to give up any information. But if you go on YouTube and you put in Pirate Voyage, the last couple years, they have a videotape. I don't think that they have this one up yet because they certainly don't want to give it away, but it has become a competition. And Thursday's event is at 6 p.m., and it's not only just for freshmen, it's for all new students. So whether they're coming back from a parochial or a private school, whether they've just moved to Oxford, grades 9 through 12, if they are new or if they were incoming freshmen, they're certainly welcome. At 6 p.m. we'll have the cookout. At 8 p.m. I will meet in the auditorium with the parents to have a question and answer period and try to make them feel comfortable that their children will be in good hands here at Oxford High School. I thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And we wish you all the best for your opening. Mr. Peterson.
I just wanted to comment on his last one. Anyone that hasn't, I have attended those, and I'm sure Mr. Wells would not be adverse to any of you attending. I think it's really impressive and great what they do for the orientation. If anyone would go, it'd be worth your while.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Back to the days of suit and tie. Let's see here. Next on our agenda is the discussion of financial reporting schedule. Mr. Matthew?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to follow up from some of the discussion that the committee had during the course of last year regarding budget alignments, budget transfers, and revolving accounts. As you can see, I've proposed a schedule that basically is quarterly to provide the committee with updates and appropriate times for us to look at our budget balances to our appropriated budget and make whatever transfers are needed. I'm not sure if anybody has any specific questions, but if everybody is okay with it, this is what I'd like to see for this year. We'll still continue with our monthly reports, but this would provide us with a little more opportunity to maybe delve in, take a look at some of the other sources of funds that the district has available, and provide another opportunity for a financial discussion.
Thank you. I guess I can say I'm a fan of this. I think the sooner we start discussing our budget, the better off we'll be. So this schedule, in my opinion, is a very good schedule. Starts right about the right time. Mr. Peterson?
It isn't only that for budget discussion. It's easier to move money if he has to move something from somewhere like Mrs. DeWitt is trying to get through to us, that I appreciate this, Mr. Matthew. I think it's a workable, very viable schedule along with our monthly financial report from you.
Thank you for
Then we
working
don't
that
have to
up
wait
us.
for 6 months to give you money from somewhere else.
I think it'll work out great.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate that. Let's see, next we have Superintendent of Schools, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All of us know what next Monday represents, and pre-K through 12, we run a full day, our first day of school next Monday, so everyone is busy this week as the time grows short, and I'm glad we are starting next Monday and not this Monday. I know that for some of us, last year's opening is still way too fresh, but I wanted to let folks know that the bus schedules will be published up on the website tomorrow. We took an extra couple of days to make sure that we have that just right, so that this year, like most districts and most years, the tweaks and the adjustments will be minor. There always are some when you transport students, but I want to thank Mr. Matthew and Mr. Trahan for outstanding work to make sure that we have this well-coordinated this year with Durham. As Mr. Wells mentioned, our custodial staff this year was very, very thin. We did not have the budget to allow for extra people that we usually hire. Each building ran with a minimal staff and to cover vacations. And I want to publicly thank every one of the custodial team in every building, because walking them today with Mr. Matthew, we should all be very proud. They have done a terrific job. They are the first line of defense, and certainly for health and safety of students and staff. I'm very impressed with how our buildings look with a week to go. I wanted to extend the invitation, which I thought I had emailed, but apparently I didn't. Mr. Peterson informed me that the school committee did not get the same invitation that everyone else did. For Wednesday, which is the back-to-school opening, we welcome back all faculty and staff, and that will be 7:30 to 8:15 in our cafeteria, and then 8:30 in the auditorium this coming Wednesday. And I believe that we are ready for the challenges. We're not sure what all of the challenges will be, but we are in very good shape as we go into this year, and I'm looking forward to a very, very successful year.
Very good, as are we.
And that is all I have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Going back to the bus schedule, I have noticed quite a few empty buses driving around town. Are they checking their routes?
Yes.
Because they've been coming by the house a couple of times at different times, and have all of our bus drivers done their routes, like a dry run of their routes?
Yes,
They
they had their back-to-school meeting this morning, actually.
Okay.
And I know that they were finishing all of their dry runs today.
Okay, very good. I probably, like the rest of the committee, hope I don't get one phone call, because if I do, I hate to be the next meeting. And I'm saying that from the fiasco that went on last year. I will lose it. I know I will lose it. So I'm hoping that Durham knows they've got an Irish Albanian chair, and that you just don't want to do it. I don't want to have one phone call. Mr. Peterson?
I had asked for a report for this meeting prior to opening of school on busing, and Mr. Matthew has privately told me things are ready. I have not had the opportunity this week to go down and look at them, but I most certainly will be in the next 2 days before one bus hits the road. And anyone here knows that busing and transportation safety has always been a craw in my cap, and I will not let it go, even though it's the last year of the contract. They will not get off like they did last year on some of the issues. as far as I'm concerned either. So in defense of Mr. Matthew, he did report to me, and I have not had time to look at the inspection reports and to make sure all the buses have been updated, maintained, and the drivers. I've heard from a few of the drivers, they're satisfied at this point with their bus, okay?
Mr. Hammelberger?
I too, Mrs. Ennis, hope you don't get any calls.
I'm sure you do.
I would hope that if there are issues, and there statistically should be some issues with transporting as many students as we do, that they would call the central office first. We do have to do some educating that kindergartners do get door-to-door transportation. First graders do not, or second graders do not, so that there may be families where their kindergartner does get picked up, but their second grader does not get to ride the bus. And if we had the capacity and the money, we would love to be able to do that, but we don't. We have already been talking to and providing details and background for many people. So I would urge the entire community, if there are questions or concerns, please feel free to call the central office. And we can address them. And certainly, I think that would be the best for everyone, that there always will be adjustments that are made in every district to every route.
Yeah.
And I believe that Mr. Matthew has driven that point home many times to Durham. And to Durham's credit, they have been very cooperative this go-round.
Good.
And they have put the resources where they are needed. So I anticipate a very smooth and a far smoother opening. And when there are adjustments to be made, we will make them where necessary.
We anticipate the same. Mrs. Conan?
Just one question. Will that statement be on the website tomorrow as well?
Yes.
As far as kindergartners and second graders, and just to make sure? I mean, I can see some proactive parents calling you, but
Yep.
how are we getting to everybody else that might not be calling?
And just to respond, Mrs. Coonan, we will try and get to everybody. We will not be able to reach everybody, but certainly
Understood.
those folks that do have the questions, I'm sure they will be calling, and we will address them one at a time,
Okay.
as we do every year.
Mr. Matthew?
Just a point to the committee. You know, last year, we had the committee review its policies a couple of times. We sent a copy of those policies home this summer to the elementary students, the parents of the elementary students, I should say, as well as asking them for the alternative address that they, if there is one involved, reminding them, or at least including in the letter, that that address is for 5 days a week. We are going to have some pushback, I'm sure, because we'll be following policies that weren't perhaps as strictly followed in the past. So there is going to be some pushback, absolutely. But there's no way that I could anticipate the levels of issues that we had last year.
Great,
Excellent.
that's good news. Thank you very much. Anything else, Mr. Hammelberger?
I am all set. Thank you, Madam
Very
Chair.
good, thank you. Mr. Matthew?
Well, I was going to mention that the high school lighting project was actually completed as of today, final punch list done.
Good.
So I'm happy to sign off on the paperwork involved now. I think it was good, and I think we'll see the results as we move forward and spend less money by not having as much KWH usage. Additionally, I would like to thank the custodial staff with the budget realities that we've had to face the last couple of years. We've really pared them down to the bare minimums, and everybody, I think, this year stepped up, did a great job, and all of the schools, I think, look very good for the opening of school.
Excellent, that's good news. Thank you very much. Mr. Peterson?
In the minutes previously accepted, I had requested a hold on one of the surplus or quote disposal of, and the item was Scott Forsman reading. I had requested a report on that, why we have it, and why we did not follow through, or what was the initial reason that we have those books or that surplus. And at that time, nobody could tell me who ordered them and what our intent was. And do we intend to follow through with this, or are we, have we wasted the money, just going to drop this program and throw the books out to somebody else? The Scott Forsman reading.
Hammelberger?
Let me get a up-to-the-minute clarification on that for Mr. Peterson tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate it, thank you. Anything else, sir?
Yes, okay, that was the Chafee books, the bus is done. The only other thing is I had a real positive Thursday, and again, for any of you that missed it, you should try to attempt to go sometime. We were invited to sail with the NJROTC, and I was outvoted, though, not happy. I wanted to go to Iggy's again. They voted to go to Five Guys hamburger joint, so
you're
apparently...
kidding. You didn't go to
No,
Iggy's?
apparently the kids love their hamburgers and wouldn't give in, so we did go to Five Guys again.
Gone to
Five
Iggy's
Guys?
anyway.
I know,
It's a
but
decent
anyway.
burger, though.
Huh?
I've never experienced their burgers. They was pretty good.
Well, no, it's an excellent place, but we did go to, we used to go to Chinese every year after, and they voted to, last year to go to the Five Guys, and then we tried Iggy's after the Blue Angels, but apparently didn't win out. So thank you to the commander, to the cadets, as usual, impressive, and anybody that you talk to, the bus driver, the restaurant, everybody is more than satisfied with Oxford attending or going into any of their properties or businesses. They love to have us, and it's been phenomenal. This is the 11th year, and another fantastic cruise. The winds were perfect, so the sails were up all the time from the point of departure to the return. So the kids got a pretty nice sail of it and pretty good experience. So thank you to the commander and to the cadets for their usual impressive day. That's it for tonight.
Thank you very much. Mr. Anderson?
Nothing tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Ruvelli?
Nothing?
Okay. Mrs. Coonan?
Just a safe, wonderful start to the school year. Hard to believe that it's here already. I'm not quite sure where the summer went, but I'm sure it will go very smoothly, and I as well look forward to no bus calls. And appreciate everybody's help and work toward that.
And I will also offer a great start to we hope, a great year of achievement. I hope that this year we get to bring out the best that we can in this community and in our students. So I have one young lady very excited for the 8th grade, and to me, I don't know how I can even say that she's going into the 8th grade, but Miss Molly is headed to the 8th grade. And she made the honors program this year, so she's thrilled. And I wish all of her friends and everyone else a great year. And that is what I have for this evening. Is there anything else? I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Thank you. Call for the vote.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Oh, excited.
Would I be done by 7?